There are a handful of things that highly influential people do better than almost anybody else on the planet. They know how to communicate ideas without ever saying them directly. How can someone communicate something without ever actually saying it? Imagine I ask you, how high is your confidence as you sit there with your head held high? To even begin considering the answer to that question, you have to accept that you have confidence. I don't have to tell you or argue with you that you have confidence. I just embedded it in the question. So no matter what you say, you have to accept that you're confident. This is called a presupposition. It's an assumption embedded into a sentence that the listener has to accept as true in order for the sentence to even make sense. Instead of directly saying it, it causes your mind to accept it as if it were already true, unless you know to listen for them. Then you can question them. Now, presuppositions are unavoidable. They're a natural part of language. And when you learn to listen for them and identify them, it'll make you a much more effective communicator. Here are some examples of presuppositions in politics.
Change will not come if we wait for some other person or if we wait for some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for.
Notice what's happening. It presupposes that changing requires action, not waiting. It assumes that responsibility belongs to us rather than someone else. It also presupposes that waiting itself prevents change. Now, you might agree with that, but none of those ideas were explicitly stated. They were embedded in the language. Donald Trump famously said,
"Make America great again."
Now, I know some of you are going to freak out at that one, but let's notice all of the presuppositions inherent in just those 4 words. First, it presupposes that America is currently not great, or at least not great enough. It also presupposes that America was great at some point in the past. It assumes that returning to that previous state is even possible. And perhaps the most important presupposition is that it leaves the word great completely unspecified. Great according to whom? What standard are we measuring this against? Economic, military, culture, moral? Your mind has to automatically fill in those missing criteria. Now, I know I gave political examples, but this goes so far beyond politics. Every leader, coach, marketer, every communicator on the planet uses presuppositions because they're naturally built into all of language. You cannot avoid them. The question is, are you consciously recognizing them, or are you simply accepting them without even noticing? The moment you start hearing presuppositions, you start listening at a much deeper level. And once you hear them, you can begin to use them more intentionally in your own communication.